Hello, this is Ingrid Auer. I'm from Austria, from Europe, and I would like to introduce you to my dear friend, Jennifer Wren Tolo. I met her last year at the Wellness Universe event in Sedona. She lives at the American East Coast, and she's also author of the wellness book. It's a guide to complete self-care, and she wrote about chapter 13, Pause with Purpose, Tame the Chaos and Reset the Nervous System. She has a lot of experience about this because she had many challenging times in her life, and therefore I would like to ask you, Jennifer, to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit what is your background and why can you write about tame the chaos and reset the nervous systems?
That's a great question. Thank you, Ingrid. I am, my background is I was a critical care nurse for many years. I have a master's in nursing administration, and I thought I would change the healthcare system through administration. But being a critical care nurse, I sort of thrived in chaos, and I loved the excitement and the energy of having to quickly think. And I think I've always been able to find calm in the chaos, which really came in handy when I had my children. So I have 4 boys, but my second son was born and he had a massive neonatal stroke. And it really sort of tilted all of my thoughts and expectations of what parenting and what having children was going to be like. It completely turned it upside down. But everything that I learned, so I realized that I needed some other tools in my toolbox other than just my knowledge of the body and the healthcare. I really learned to connect to the angels myself, to connect to myself and my own intuition, to start to trust my own inner knowing and my own inner knowledge. I became a Reiki master. I dove into nutrition and became certified in holistic nutrition. And I became a mindfulness practitioner for myself first, learning that I needed to learn how to be in the present moment and not get caught up in the projection about what the future was going to hold, because I have no control over that. And my kids and my family really needed me to be present and learn how to be present. So all of these tools I put together, and I became a personal trainer also, just learning how to energetically move my body to help myself ground my energy and balance myself. And so I used all these tools and realized that there was another side of healing and healthcare that needed to be explored. So now I own a company called Butterfly Family Wellness, and I help people learn how to bridge the gaps between modern medicine and holistic alternative medicine, between self-care and caring for others, between being a parent and having children, and kind of bridging that gap between adults and children, and also bridging the gap between the scientific knowledge and knowing and that intuitive knowledge and knowing. So that's my story. And being a chaos tamer, I think I live it. And I would call myself an expert chaos tamer.
4 boys, I can imagine.
With my 4 boys, I can definitely be that mom that reads the book while balls are being thrown around me and I'm in my own little world, tuning it out. It's called survival, Ingrid.
I can imagine. So I'm sure you're working with a lot of persons, maybe also with moms, who don't take care enough for themselves.
Yes.
What does a stress cause on a physical and emotional level if you don't have a pause or relax, something like this? What is the effect of this?
Yeah. Well, I lived it. I was so busy taking care of everybody else and thinking I can control everything around me and putting out this fire and looking for the next fire, and in that fight or flight or stress loop, that I completely got burned out. I had migraines, headaches. I had trouble digesting. So I had metabolic issues. I had gastro, stomach issues. I was finding myself reacting to things and being sort of short fused with all the people around me. So emotionally, I was more emotional and more reactive to things. And it's sort of this, in whole health education, which I'm a whole health educator, I really believe that there are so many different aspects of our health that impact the whole person, which are nutritional. So when we're stressed, our nutritional requirements are different, and we metabolize differently, which can then impact our physical body, our energy level, our hormones, our metaphysical energy, the way we connect to things, the way we tune into things. I'm a medical intuitive, so I can see the energy of the body. And oftentimes for myself, but when clients come to me, I can actually see the porousness of the energy field. I can see the holes almost in the energy field, because there's only so much you can do on so much energy and so much fuel in your tank. And when we're constantly giving everything away and we don't take the time to refill our energy well, then we're running on fumes, and that's how we get burned out. That's how our physical body starts to deteriorate and come up with physical symptoms and illnesses. That's how our emotional body tends to deteriorate, and we start to get depressed and anxious and see problems where there aren't any. And we start to affect the people around us, our children, our coworkers, our spouses, and there's this ripple effect that kind of comes out. So hopefully that answered your question.
Yeah. So there's a big toolbox, and you and me and Manuela Auer, we three did all our tools together, shared with other people. Would you like to explain our project?
Sure. I think it's one of my favorite projects I've ever done. I'll be honest. It just came together so effortlessly and beautifully. And I feel like the three of us, Manuela Rohr comes with her experience with yoga and meditation and mindfulness. You come with that beautiful perspective of the angels and using your guides and using your angels to help support you through difficult times. And then I come with my knowledge of the energy body, the spiritual body, and how to regulate the nervous system. Along with my experience, we all have the experience of going through challenging times, but our program called Navigate Through Stormy Times is a program about resilience and a program about how to find that inner peace and that inner strength within, so you can weather any storm that comes your way. Because challenges and storms, what we call challenges, our storms, are inevitable in anybody's life. And what happens is the resistance that we tend to bring to those storms, because life isn't going the way we wanted it or expected it to go, that's what creates the imbalance and the upheaval in our lives. And our program is really supporting people through that journey and helping them find and tap into those tools inside themselves to find that inner strength, to find that inner peace and that inner balance, and to find the support that's out there spiritually, but also around with each other. So I think it's a really powerful program. It's an online program. It is 6 modules, and people can do it at their own pace. But it's 3 powerful women coming together with our own experiences and our own knowledge to bring that support and to offer more tools in the toolbox for people to navigate through the stormy times. It's my favorite project I think I've done so far.
What I like of our program is that we have support, or we give support and tools on the physical level, on the mental, emotional, energetical, and spiritual.
Yes.
So all kinds of support, all kinds of tools we put in our toolbox together, so everyone can figure out what he needs at the moment, or can experience something new, can do new steps, for example, into the angels, or into the body treatment, or into the mental support. So I am sure that many people can approach to this toolbox and can get a lot from this.
And one of the things that I love too, sorry to interrupt you, but it's very realistic. What I like about our approach is it's very realistic. It's the way that we use it ourselves, the way that we have to keep remembering that we have these tools. It's not coming from it's a very accessible place that we communicate this information, because all of us are coming from very different backgrounds, very different levels of spirituality, but also from very realistic, grounded places, which I think is where the power comes from of this program.
And people can integrate our tools in daily life. It's very practical. It's not theoretical. It's really from daily life.
Yes.
Life. Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Like theory is the one thing, but the practice is the other. And everything what I would like to offer should be practical for people, not to read or study or learn, to do and figure out and try and test and realize what's the best for them. Yeah.
For them, exactly. Yes.
So we did our program. Although I spoke more about the angel things, I know that you're also into the angels. How did this come, and how do you integrate them in your life, in your job?
That's a great question. Well, I would like to say that I've always been intuitive. I don't know if I've always known that they were angels or where this intuition was coming from. I wasn't raised in a family. I have a very loving family, but they were very logical, science-based. And my mother was very religious, so she had a lot of fear relating to any intuitive channeling or anything. So I've always been able to read people and to know things. I don't really understand how I knew things. I always felt like there were people, guides and spirits and energy around me. But your third eye, I like to say, which is where the intuition and the knowing comes, as a child is wide open, but as parents, sometimes we can close that third eye for children. And that's what happened to me. It didn't close it all the way, but I really learned to kind of hide that side of myself. And then going into medicine, obviously I've always used my intuition. I've always trusted sort of that inner compass and inner guide, but I was always very careful to have the science to back up anything I said or did. And then when my son was born, and he had the stroke, I had a dear friend of mine that I remember waking up in the hospital to babies crying all around me, and my baby was 30 miles away. And I was just feeling so heavy and sad and couldn't breathe. And I remember hearing this voice that told me, just breathe. You will connect to your son. That's what he needs right now. But just breathe. All the answers will come. And I knew in that moment, it's like this calm just washed over me. And I knew that I just needed to be with my son, to connect to my son, and he would tell me, and the guides would show me. And one of my dear friends attuned me to Reiki and said, your son's going to need this. And then I remember going to my mother's house, or my parents' house, and my mom had this book that said How to Communicate with the Angels. It was a Doreen Virtue book, actually. And I thought, because I knew my mother, and this was not for my mother. And I said, where did this book come from? She said, I don't know. There was something just told me to pick up this book. And I got, again, another very clear message. Oh yeah, you were guided to pick it up for me. And I remember sitting and laboring over this book and doing some of the exercises. And it was like that third eye just started to, the windows started to open. And I started to journal and communicate with the angels. A friend of mine gave me my first angel cards. And I think the more I practiced and the more I allowed more of that to come into the light, the clearer the channeling was. So now I use, I journal with the angels all the time. for myself, because that's how I personally get the best messages for myself. But working with people, I will get messages that I just channel to them, or I use angel cards, yours, and I use some other oracle cards. Yours are kind of what I use to bring energy to situations, or to shed light on some energetic needs in a situation. But some of the oracle cards are great for showing messages. And I use your angel aura essences. When I do Reiki, when I do Reiki, I will spray. I use them personally, I use them professionally, and I use the angels and guides in everything I do now. Mm-hmm. And I find it's one of my most powerful tools. Mm.
I could listen to you for hours.
I love you.
So
I could talk for hours, as you know.
This is good for your clients. And this brings me to my next question. How can people find you? How can they connect? How can they work with you? How can they book a session or something like this?
Yes. Well, there are a lot of different ways to connect. I have a Facebook group called my niche, or the people that I love working with are moms like me, especially moms that have kids with special challenges or that have special challenges themselves. So I have a Facebook group called Warrior Moms on a Mission. So you can search and join that group. I do a lot of live teachings and little sort of quick little tools that I offer on that. You can reach out to me, Jen, Jen, at Butterfly Family Wellness, or go on my website, butterflyfamilywellness.com, to see my different programs I have coming up. I have an integrative life reset program that's a challenge, a 4-week challenge to help sort of reset eating and drinking and stress management and our exercise and just reconnecting to our purpose and our joy. But I do have a monthly program that I do that's an integrative life reset. I also have a couple of other online programs that I offer. But a lot of the foundation of what I do is what this chapter in the book is, the Pause with Purpose, because I feel like a lot of people, one of the biggest things I hear is, I don't have time. And time is a creative thing. But one of the things that, as a busy mom of 4, and as a self-proclaimed type A personality, I am a doer. But sometimes I have to reset my nervous system so I can calm myself and be present in the present moment and make choices and take actions that are thought out and purposeful versus impulsive and reactive. So the Pause with Purpose is a tool that I teach people as a foundation, because I don't feel like a lot of people in our holistic world talk about meditation and talk about all sorts of tools that are wonderful, but they take time. Mm-hmm. And really just knowing that you can take 1 minute to 2 minutes, it takes 2 minutes to reset your nervous system through purposeful pausing and breathing and reconnecting to the messages in your body. Mm-hmm. And think about how much, where our true power is, and how much more powerful we are when we are able to connect to the messages of our mind, our body, and our spirit, and get the guidance and get the tune into what it is that we need in this moment. And when we do that, we have so much power over our lives. And I think especially now, so many people are feeling powerless in their lives. So that Pause with Purpose is a foundation of what I teach.
Mm-hmm. So you mentioned some people say, I don't have the time, but
yes,
they don't have the time. Life sometimes forces them to take time.
Yes.
But sometimes they have an accident, they are sick, or they lose a job or something like this, then they have time enough. So it's better to work on oneself before life makes
yes.
a break for you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, I see that in so many different aspects of our life right now. I mean, if we, and this is the resistance piece, and this is kind of what our program teaches, the Navigate Through Stormy Times teaches, is when we resist what is because it's different than what we want it to be or expect it to be.
Yeah, absolutely.
Then we rob ourselves of the power of choice and flow. And as you know, we move into this new era, the age of Aquarius is upon us, which is all about flow. But what a lot of people think is that it's just going to happen, it's just going to flow. But if we're still resisting, it's not going to flow. It's going to be a bumpy ride. Yes. Yes, we're going to be going against the current, and that's exhausting.
Yeah.
Right. So it's that whole like learning exactly to allow whatever's coming to unfold. And to do that, you have to trust yourself. You have to be in tune with yourself and what your needs are instead of resisting. So yes, I agree with you.
So thank you so much for this nice talk. It is always lovely to listen to you and learn more about you, about your life, and about your work. And yes, we share our work with all people who are interested in. And I'm looking forward to our next project.
Yes, thank you, Ingrid.
I showed again the book for those who
Yes.
don't know it. So, chapter 13, written by Wren Tolo. Thank you.
Thank you.